Hello everyone and welcome to So Many Games So Little Time. My name is Joachim and today we will be playing Stars of Akarios. Now I've already done a bunch of setup, but I'll walk you through to what I have done. First of all, I have taken my player board. I've taken cubes of the different colors and put them all on 0 because at that point I didn't know my ship yet. I also took out the sparrow, put it in the standee, took out the first system card, which is the Draconian system. The rest is here. Also 2 event cards that say Draconian system with the events, of course, the results face down. I have the 2 player aids. I set up the sparrow, which basically means the cube here is in the middle. I've already forgotten what the cube is, but I will tell you right now. That cube is supply track. Okay, so I guess I have 5 supply. All right, I've done that. I also have 5 dice instead of 4 because I'm playing solo with only 1 ship. Maybe later, depending on how big the game is for my table, I might go to 2. I have chosen Gerdon as my pilot, and this is what he looks like. I think it's a he. That's what it looks like. And then as a ship, I have chosen the Merkava, which is a command and assault ship, which I'll explain more about that later. I've taken the ship, put it in the standee, and also put my pilot's icon in there. Okay, so I have changed the shields and so on here based on my ship, as you can see here, right? That has been changed, and more specifically, the purple is stress. The green, if I'm not mistaken, are the shields. Okay, so it's hull and shield. Okay, so the hull and the shield. So my hull is my shields are 2, I imagine, and the hull is 6. All right, so what else did I do? I have my modifier deck, which I shuffled. I have the ship abilities, but they don't come out yet. I have my pilot ability, which is the first one. So my ability is resolve, my pilot's ability. And it means if I basically miss, if I do 0 damage, then my stress decreases. So basically I keep focused even if I don't do any damage. The engine that I chose is flank, which will give me the ability to go like straight and then veer left and right, come back basically. And then the other one is long shots that I chose the attack. All right, there are several other options that I could have made. So for example, for the or choices that I could have chosen, that's better. For example, engine wise, there's bank that I could have chosen. There's also barrel roll, flank I chose, and burn and flip. Now I noticed in the rulebook there's a mistake. It shows you the upgrades that you can get, the engine upgrades, but it shows bank and jet, and it's actually upgrade number 12. So it's supposed to be 1 to 4. So I guess that's a misprint. It is bank, but it's bank and jet. So it's a combination of both. So there's just a small thing. So if you're looking for that card and can't find it, that is the reason why. And then we also have the weapons, which you can actually already see in the rulebook there, but I'll show it up close. So you have the EMP blast, okay. You have burst fire, long shot, which I chose, and proton blast. Okay, so I chose long shot because my ship has command and assault. So I think most of the time I won't be too close to the enemies because command is useful at commanding the battlefield and outthinking opponents. And then assault, ready to equip the most powerful weapons available in the Akarios galaxy. At the moment, these things don't matter. All right, it's only when you pick up loot or discover other stuff that you might be able to use it in your ship class and you might not be able to use it. So that's basically the whole setup that I've done so far. I also have my squad name. The squad name is Mortal Coil's End. If you want to know what Mortal Coil means, it is now on the screen. And my pilot call sign is Starlight, which I guess everybody who knows the Kickstarter knows what that refers to, right? So this is basically the squad overview with the prologue that we'll be doing. And then Garrett in his own sheet with his ship name, Merkava. There's another space for another ship, so I guess he'll be able to upgrade later on. Okay, so that is also done. That is immediately everything that I've done so far. I also have this, but this is my personal dice tray. It is a portal. I got it from Etsy. I'll put the link in the description as well if you're interested. I painted it myself. And any space game that involves dice rolling, I'm using it. Even if there's no portals, I don't care. I'm using it. All right, so then it says stop here and begin the campaign. So that's what we're doing. It says here, welcome to Stars of Akarios. So there's going to be spoilers, okay, from here on out. So if you want to be spoiled, you follow along. If you don't want to be spoiled, then, you know. So I'll read it out to you. Welcome to Stars of Akarios. War has taken a discouraging toll. When the Rathans attacked Medelia and started this fight, it sparked the creation of the United Intergalactic Alliance. A state-of-the-art navy designed by the Celestians and led by Captain Soma has since brought the Rathans to their knees. Some in the Alliance consider her actions to have been too severe, while others believe that she didn't go far enough. For Soma's part, she is reluctant to discuss anything beyond what's in her official report. Most members of the United Intergalactic Alliance agree that the need for a larger military force has passed. Efforts to closely monitor the Rathans' actions have not gone much further than bickering amongst Alliance members. No one wants to commit resources to a job that they see as done. The planet Medelia has been center stage in this conflict, and the Medelians have been key figures in the Alliance since the beginning. A fragile Congress of the United Intergalactic Alliance meets now to discuss how necessary their military presence is going forward. Many Congress members believe the time has come to focus on their own species' interests. The isolationist Celestians are chief among these, while even reliable members such as the yours, who helped found the Alliance, are beginning to rethink their role. Captain Soma has been a vital member of the Alliance and a senior military figure with the Akarios Institute. She preaches vigilance and remains convinced that the threat is not over. Her celebrity is a source of embarrassment, despite its use as a tremendous recruiting tool for the training school. The outcome of this most recent Congress has not been reported as you enter your first briefing. You're not a graduate yet. Depending on who you'd ask, some suggest that you're not ready for live training flights. You know different. Soon, you'll get your chance to prove it. So it says here, learn to pray. Basically, after setup, your first action is to control the Sparrow as part of space exploration. He's currently in D1.1. And the only available action is the Scout action. So to perform this action, lower the Sparrow supply by 1. So this goes down by 1. And open the scenario book to the scenario number found in the Scout action. In this case, it's 001. As you can see here on the card, it says 001. Go ahead and read the scenario 001 training mission on the next page. Remember to follow the learn to play instructions as they appear. Okay, so we'll see. So you'll also notice many things on the table, but they're all around me, like the card decks and everything, and the ships and so on. Training mission. Objective: eliminate all enemy ships before they destroy the satellites. In this first scenario, you will learn how to play space combat, read the story below, and then follow the learn to play instructions. So if you're not interested in the story, I will put timestamps and then you can just skip it. Okay? The briefing room is full of chatter amongst the various cliques present. It's an uncomfortable mix of experienced pilots and trainees and a blend of the different species of the United Intergalactic Alliance. While you scan the room, you recognize a friendly face, a medallion named Sol. He nods to you with his familiar grin. Welcome to the big time. Don't mess this up, or I won't get to see you looking this uncomfortable at the next briefing. There are smiles all around at the gentle ribbing. Someone congratulates him on his promotion to lieutenant when you're cut off. Captain Soma's entrance isn't dramatic or loud, but her presence brings an end to the chatter in the room. Attention! Snaps Captain Soma in her stern Celestian accent. She has no patience for anything less than complete attention. The younger pilots have only ever seen her on news clips. The iron command in Soma's voice stops them cold. When your CEO is present, idle chatter ends. Perhaps some of you require more time in training. She looks pointedly at the recruits who had failed to notice her arrival, and they sink down in their chairs. Not paying attention here and now will cost you out there, and not just you. It could cost the lives of others in this room. She doesn't have to single anyone out this time. I expect conduct that is appropriate of a graduate going forward. You know what it means to be an Akarios Institute graduate, don't you? Yes, Commander, the room replies as one. The best of the best, Soma comments as she turns to the board, the slightest hint of a smile at the corner of her mouth. Today we will introduce students to live flight tests. You will be doing simulations typical for established pilots. Assessments will be done by the senior pilots in the room who will monitor from Adelia. As with all of your tests, you will be reviewed on technical knowledge, problem-solving abilities, and strategic acumen. Soma continues, her tone now a touch softer. You will have to work together without the assistance of a superior officer. I will be in orbit with a small crew aboard the Sparrow. We will be there to pick you up in case of an emergency. There is a collective intake of breath from around the room. To be monitored by an officer is one thing, but to be assessed by Captain Soma herself is something else entirely. If there are no further questions, you all have your flight times. First group, proceed to the loading hangar and get ready for takeoff. Your flight group is headed toward a crewed station that is to be Destination A for training when some hostile units show themselves on the radar. A rattled voice is heard over the radio. Is this part of the simulation? Or are those real enemy ships? The Ronin are known to refit any ship that they can get their hands on. However, these are the models that the richest guilds have made for themselves, the richest and most cutthroat. Immediately Sol reaches out. Pilots, this is not a test. This is the real thing. It looks as though someone has hired Ronin mercenaries to attack one of our satellites. We don't have time to scramble fighters, so it's up to you. Captain Soma continues in her steady tone. Don't worry, you're not alone. Rendezvous with the Sparrow at these coordinates. Stay close so that we can support you. Let's play it safe, cadets. Okay, so read rulebook pages 8. So I'll set up space combat now. Okay, we are now 1 day later because I had to stop yesterday. But I have now set up everything. So the board probably looks a little bit different. But everything else that's supposed to be here is here. So we can just play as usual. Alright, so as you can see, the combat is set up. So what have I done? Of course, I've looked at the setup in the scenario book, and I've checked. So if it says 1+, that's when there's one pilot and one player, basically. If there's two, then the twos are going to be added and so on. There's some meteors, and that's it. Sparrow is here. And I got to choose where I put my ship and which direction it faces. So I decided to put it here, already kind of facing this guy, hoping that I can immediately attack him or whatever, something like that. So I put him here thinking that if I go around him, I might be able to hit him. But I'm not sure yet. We'll see. We'll see. What else have I done? I have added the 2 Ronin Scouts and their cards. They're red, that means they're normal. If you flip it over, they'll be yellow and they'll be elite. They have 6 shield, they attack for 2. They have their own modifier deck. You'll also maybe you saw it, but before I had a huge deck of modifiers because I accidentally shuffled them all together, which you're not supposed to do. You're supposed to have a 20 card modifier deck just like you do with slightly different cards. They have their own combat deck, which I shuffled. There's only one kind of enemy, so it's always just their turn after me, right? But then if you have multiple enemies, they'll be looking at this number to see which enemy moves first and so on. If there was an elite one, then the elite one would go first, but there's nothing there. Space exploration here at the moment does not matter. Then aside from that, my own modifier deck is ready, my dice are ready. We are at round number 1, which is on the Sparrow, and supply has moved down 1 as well. We are here, and there's some special rules. Enemies are disadvantaged when they attack pilots within 4 range of the Sparrow. So at the moment, it's not 4 yet. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So they're not disadvantaged yet. But disadvantage is very simple. They draw 2 modifier cards and they choose the weakest one. That's it. The Sparrow does not act, cannot be targeted, so it's pretty safe. The satellite has 10 hull. So I put it here. I'm not 100% sure if there's something that's supposed to figure as the satellite. Not that I could find, so I just use this board to keep track of the satellites. Yeah. But if I'm missing something, please tell me in the comments and I'll make it even better, right? I'll just add it as a sticky note. And then enemies can target the satellite because they're trying to destroy the satellite. So obviously I want to stop them. That is why this guy will be my first target, because you can also see he is facing towards there. Because that is also a detail on the setup. You see these white things? That means where they are facing, okay? So, but when you place your own ship, you get to choose where you are facing. Also, we have the meteors. How did they work? When your ship goes on top of the meteor, you take 1 hull damage. And also, people can shoot in the meteors, but you can't shoot through them. And also, when you're in the meteors, you can shoot out of them, but also not through them, of course. So that is how meteors work. Another important thing is when you do your movement, any type of movement, when they do their movement, when I do my movement, you cannot stop your movement unless you interrupt it. When you interrupt it, you take 1 stress. Stress is bad because stress will affect you in many different ways. But so normally they are never going to interrupt their movement, so they might fly into meteors and so on. If you use the terrain to your advantage, they might damage themselves or blow themselves up. So a little bit more about stress. Stress you're going to get when you roll the stress face. You can see this here, right? Actually, this is turning into a how to play, but if you've never played before, how else are you going to know what I'm doing, right? So this is a stress die. Now a stress die acts as a wild die, but it also gives you stress, which is this purple thing here. And whenever you go up on the stress row or column, then you risk getting triggered a little bit. First of all, when we reach 3 stress, because you can see the stress is nicely shown here with the boxes, and something special happens. When you have 3 stress, you'll take 1 stress miss modifier. So I'll take a card that says miss and put it in my modifier deck, right? 5, the same thing. Of course you always shuffle when you add it. And then 7 stress, the player is triggered. Now when you are triggered, you're going to be drawing a trauma card. Obviously these are very bad. And you only draw 1. But later in the game, if some of the trauma is permanent, you can see here trauma, 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 then you will be crossing it out. And then if you have trauma during the fight, you'll check, okay, I have 1 trauma. I'm triggered. I take 1 plus 1. So you get 2 trauma cards, and it's not like you discard 1. No, both of them happen to you. So that can be pretty bad when that happens. Same thing happens with 10, and then it goes back to 0. So luckily, you do not have to use your stress die if you don't want to. The other dice are as followed. This is movement die. This is an attack die. And this is a wild one. You can do whatever you want with that. So those are the different faces. I'm playing solo, so I have 5 dice instead of 4. And you can see the actions on my board. You have long shots. If I put 1 die on here, then I can do 2 damage to 1 person. If I put 2 dice on there, once again, it can also be wild, can be normal. Basically any die except for movement I can put on here. Let's say I put stress, whatever. Then I don't do the first one, but I would do the second one, which means 1 target, 3 damage. And once I use it, my supply goes down 1. Because you start with 3 supply, and every time you use this, it goes down 1 step. Same thing for the engine, where I'm basically going to flank. So I burst forward for 3 spots, and then make a turn and end up behind them. That's why I like this. For example, if I were to do it here, I actually have to be faced a little bit differently. So I'm going to remove this one and put him somewhere else, because I'm going to try to end up behind him as much as possible. So that's that. Also, you have the effects. When you use a stress die on here, then you can also rotate 2 spots first, either before or after you fly. If you don't use a stress die, you cannot use it. That's why it says purple stress. Also, I forgot, Longshot has this effect, which means piercing, so it'll ignore any shields. Then we have the basic actions. So first of all, the attack is simple. Put 1 die, 1 damage, 1 target. Put 2 dice, 2 damage, 1 target. Okay. Sadly, it doesn't have a name, but it also looks kind of bursty. It's like anyway. The movement is just you go 1 forward and then 1 to the left or to the right. Then the second move action is just burst forward 3 spots. And you can see there's 2 things, right? 2 spots. So on your turn, you could use it twice if you want to. All right. And then here, this one basically means you can use any die that you want to rotate 2 spots. Okay. And then here, you can put a die 3 times to repair. So you would repair the hull twice. You would lose 2 stress, and you also resupply, which means if they're down, you can move them back up twice. Okay. Small caveat for this one, you need to have 3 at the same time, not just 1, 1, and 1. No, you need to have 3 of any type. So basically, I would be sacrificing 3. They also say when you play solo, if you think it's too easy, you can up the difficulty. But I think for the first time, it's fine. Let's just not make it too difficult in the first go around. I think that's it. Now, my turn is going to start with the pilot action. So normally it starts increase shields by 1, but my shield level is 2, so I can't go higher than that. Luckily, the enemies don't do that. They don't replenish their shield. And as you can see, both scouts have 0 shield. I didn't even put a cube there because they don't have one. Unless suddenly the cards say that they start having some, but I don't think so. Also, sorry, you have these 6 markers here. Stealth, stun, slow, hull breach, target lock, and radar jam. These things might happen. If they do, a cube will be put on top of them, and it'll be like a 1 round thing most of the time. There is a whole page of combat effects, page and even more, that I'm not going to go over, but these are the ones. So you can see there's quite a lot of them. When they come up, I will explain them. Okay, I'll explain what they do. All right, so so increase shield by 1, unnecessary roll action dice. So I'm going to use my dice tray. Actually, I'm going to move this away because we don't really need it at the moment. Move it out of sight, but not out of mind. And move my dice tray here. There we go. There we go. Alright, so that is a very attack center, but very good because I have no stress dice. It's very, very, very good. So, assign action dice to lower supply and perform actions. So I still, well, okay, I was thinking of moving this guy, but now I can't anymore because it's a bit unfair. So I'm just leave him there. This guy is pointing that way. I just have to make sure I end up there somehow. So, thinking, if I use this one, if I use flank, it would be 3 forward, 1, 2, 3. But then I would end up on top of him, which is not allowed. So that doesn't really work. But I could go basic movement, which would be hub and hub, and then turn around, and then I could do 1, 2, 3, bum bum, and end up behind him. Now that would work. So that's what I'm going to do. Okay, I'm put 1 movement die here. So it's 1 forward and then to the left like this. All right, so I'm now facing that way. Then I use one of these dice to turn 2 spots. So it's 1, but I don't need to turn 2. 1 is more than enough. Then I use another one of these to do 1, 2, 3. Then go this way and this way. So now I'm behind him and I use 2 attack dice, which gives me 3 damage, and I have an advantage because I am behind him. So I can draw two modifier cards. First one is +1. Second one is 0. So of course I'm going to go for the +1. So that's 4 damage to number 1. So number 1 goes from 6 to 2. Okay. And that is merely my action. And I lower the supply on both my engine and my long shot because I've used both of them. Okay, so once again, the effect that my long shot has is pierce, and attacks with pierce ignore the target's shield and deals damage directly to the hull. But like I said, they don't have any shields. Okay, so that's done. Then we draw a card for, that is the enemy action, phase 2. We draw a card from each enemy combat deck. So they draw a card. Ronin Scout. So what we're going to do is we will follow the bottom row normally. So it's going to move 1 spot forward, basically. So this one, without turning, okay, first it's moving. So it moves 1 step forward, okay, and then it's going to rotate and attack. Now, it will attack whichever ship is closest normally. But since they're trying to attack the satellite, I imagine they would attack the satellite first. And it is true, it is targeting the closest objective or ship. So it's going to target the satellites in this one. We start with number 1, by the way, and then later we'll do number 4. So at the moment it can't hit it though, because if it attacks it straight ahead, it cannot attack. Okay, so it can rotate, but even rotating, it will not be able to attack. So in this case, since we only do the bottom row, I think it'll just stop and that's it. However, next round it can move up to here, then rotate and shoot. So in that case, I'm lucky. Then we have this one, who will move forward 1 step. And this will also target this one, by the way, because it's also closest. But once again, forward and then rotate. It's going to rotate this to get a little bit closer, I guess. Actually, no, it's going to stay here because next time it'll be here and can then shoot. So then it'll stop immediately because there's nothing else for it to do. It cannot target the Sparrow, so that's it. So draw a card from each enemy combat deck. We did that. Determine enemy order. So there's only 1 enemy, so that's easy. It's always 1 and then 4. Perform enemy combat actions. We did that. Update combat effects. Not necessary. End of round. There's no end of round effects or special rules. Collect their assigned action dice. There we go. Increase round marker. So it's round 2. And repeat all phases until scenario success or failure. So my shield goes up. It's not necessary. And then I roll again. So once again, I'm lucky. There's no stress die. There's 2 movement and a lot of shooting. So I can't hit him at the moment. If I move, I would move 1 forward and then here. And then if I rotate, I could shoot him from behind again. That seems to be my MO at the moment. So that's what I'm going to do. So I do my basic movement. I go this way and then that way. There we go. Then I use any die to rotate. So I rotate once. Remember, you can always rotate twice maximum. So I have him right in front of me, so I will use my long shot again. So that's a double shot. That's 3 damage to him, and I have advantage because I'm behind him. So I draw 2. It's +1 or +1. Okay, then +1, I guess. So 4 damage, which means it's destroyed. So the card is immediately removed, and the ship is also removed. Bye bye, Ronin Scouts. Okay, and I have 1 left, which is also an attack die. So actually, I should have used a different die here. But, you know, table stakes, because they say once you put the die, you immediately use the action. Also, the supply of both go down. So I'm going to end up not using this one at all. That's done. That's the end of my turn. Back to the enemy. I was a little bit confused with the 2 and the 4, but these numbers are used when you're fighting multiple enemies. So when you fight multiple enemies, then these will decide who goes first. So if there's another enemy that has a 3, then the scout will go first and then the 3. But if this one came out, the other enemy would go first and then the scouts would go first. So that kind of randomizes it a little bit. It has no effect now because you only have one type of enemy. So yeah, this number at the moment is useless. So Ronin scouts, there's only one left. He's over here. He is going to move to the side and then turn. And go like this. And then rotate. Okay, I ended up moving him wrongly a little bit. So this is where he's supposed to be. He was going here, so he then moved to here. Well, he was here, and then he moved sideways, and then he's now there. But I think he is able to shoot now because he can rotate now. So that would be 1, but that would not hit. This is 1, 2, 3, and 1 to the side. He can do this. I think here he can maybe hit 1, 2, 3. No, he still can't reach it, but he's close. But we'll put him like this because that increases chance of actually hitting it. So these scouts go quite slowly, it would seem. Alright, that's done. My turn again. So I take my dice back. The round is increased. There we go. Dun, 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 dun. Yeah. There we go. Okay. that is too bad. I can move a lot, but I guess I can put myself in between the try to draw him away. But first I can put 3 down to resupply my gun and my engine. Then I'll use rotate to go here, and then use flank to do 1, 2, 3, and then here and here. So in that case, he might fire at me, but he won't hit the satellite. So that's actually my turn. That's done. Well, actually, I should leave it, right? That's only later. So then it's his turn. He draws a new card. So he's going to rotate and shoot. Now, he's not going to rotate, but he's going to shoot because... Oh, no, he has a different attack now. So he attacks 2 in front of him and 2 behind him. So no way he can hit me by rotating because I'm a bad angle. So he's going to move first. So the question is, if he does that, just like this, right? Be hub here, and then he would rotate, but he couldn't rotate enough. So, but that's what he has to do anyway, so it doesn't matter. So 1, 2, and then go this way, and then rotate 1, 2. Now, even though he can't hit me, he can hit the satellite, so he will attack the satellite. So he's going to do 0 damage, but he can target 2 people, but he can't reach me, so that doesn't matter. But he's going to draw a modifier card, so that might add damage to it, +2. So yeah, he ends up damaging the satellite for 2, which is now at 8. And this can go away. Okay, so that's him done. Take all the dice and roll, and increase the turn order, the turn round, the round marker. Okay, this one we roll. Okay, so 3 movement and shooting. I really like the fact that the stress is really chill. All right, so I could use one to rotate, but then I can't fire at him. So I would have to move as well. I cannot move through the satellite because it's impassable. So I could rotate and then try to end up behind him maybe, but then I'm going to hit this, which is not good. Unless I go like this, 1, 2, 3, but then boom, boom, and boom, boom, rotate again. I can only rotate once, so that's not an option. Oh, how am I going to be able to hit him? I guess I could do just to hub, and then rotate. It's not enough either. Okay, I think I'll move through here. So first of all, I need to rotate first because I really wasn't smart. Okay, rotate first. I guess I can just fire at him with my basic actions. I can fire twice to do damage. Well, add 2 dice and do 2 damage, I mean. I really like to use my long shot since it does more damage. So if I rotate there, then I'm going to end up not shooting because I can't rotate anymore afterwards. No, I guess I'll just rotate towards him like this and then shoot him because that will definitely hit him. So I will do this, up, hit him for 2, just draw 1 modifier. Yeah, so 0, so 2 damage to him. So he's down to 4. Then I have 2 movement left. Oh, I could have done it differently because I have the other movement here as well. But it wouldn't have made much of a difference, to be honest. Okay, I want to lure him away, right? So I'm going to go forward 1. No, that will crash me into him. What if I do... yeah, no. I'll just stay where I am. Because we're the same, but then he'll attack the satellite first because the hull is higher. Oh. There's like no easy way to get him to move away. Yeah, he's gonna attack the satellite no matter what. So with these 2, not much that I can do. Actually, you know what? I'm gonna use flank. 1, 2, 3, turn, and then into the asteroid and take 1 hull damage. And at least now I'm set up to shooting him in the back again. Kind of. Kind of, yeah. Yeah, at least I'll get the benefits here. Okay, let's continue. His turn. Okay, so first he rotates. He doesn't need to because it has full sight. He can shoot, yes. So he will do 0 damage, but he can attack as many people as he wants, but it doesn't matter. This one. And he has this effect, and this effect means slow. Although I think the slow effect will have no effect on the satellite. Slow means target is unable to move or use engine upgrades on the next action phase, but may still rotate and attack. So yeah, it doesn't really matter. So dash for 0, see what the modifier does. 0, so no damage. But the satellite is slowed. So that's him done. We move another round. I get to roll my dice. Obviously I need to practice because I'm not really good at positioning my ship. Okay, first time that there's a stress die. Now, I could shoot twice, shoot 2 damage already, which a little bit of luck might kill it. And then I have something else that I could use to, wait, which one is it? Like this, right? And then I could use these two to move, rotate, and shoot, potentially. So let's start the basic. Actually, let's do the move first. So I move 3 spots. Actually, no, because then I'm not advantaged. Okay, double here. I'll do 2 damage and draw 2 cards and choose the best one. So 0, 0. Okay, nice. So 2 damage. So 1, 2. There's 2 health left. So now, my idea was to do 1, 2, 3, and then rotate. But I can do 1, 2, get stress. So I'm not going to do that. Okay, I'll do 1. So I'll do 1, 2 basic actions, but I'll stop. So that will increase my stress by 1. I'll interrupt. Then I use my stress die, which gives me another stress, to rotate twice. 1 and 2. And then I use my final one to do 2 damage, long shots. Oh, but I can't. I won't hit him. Ah! Okay, never mind. In that case, I will just continue my movement to here and then see what I do with the remainder. I can still turn, but I cannot turn and shoot. And this is supposed to be 0, right? Because I used it last turn. Huh. That long shot is really difficult to line up. Okay, I think I found it. I use regular move. So which means I move 1 forward and then I go here. And then I'll use, if I want to use a stress die, because it's not going to make a difference. Next time I can turn around and shoot. So he has another chance at destroying the satellite. So the rodent scout, he turns around, doesn't have to, he will just shoot. It's kind of silly, the guy is just shooting and I'm just trying to hit him flying around, really messing it up. So once again he can reach it, so he'll attack for 0, but he does have an effect with this here, and that effect means, it looks like speeding up. Pull. The target is pulled towards the ship. If there are 2 hexes which a ship could be pulled into, the players may decide amongst themselves. Targets may be pulled multiple hexes if the effect is numbered. Targets cannot be pulled into other ships. So I don't think you can pull the satellite because it's impenetrable, impossible, whatever. So I don't think that happens. So let's see if he does any damage. No, he doesn't. So at the moment he's just firing for no effect. So this increases again. 6th round. I have a feeling like this should have probably ended earlier. Alright, let's finish this off. So we have 2 stress die, but I hope it's not going to matter. I use this to turn twice. 1, 2. Have him in my sights. Double dice for a long shot. So it's 2 damage. I'm not advantaged, just 1. Plus 1. So 3 damage. Boom. The Ronin Scout is dead. And we won. Okay. Let's move this away and then read what it says. Okay. Bum, 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 bum. Success. It takes a few seconds to sink in once the last Ronin ship is gone. Such is the adrenaline coursing through you. Your anxiety swings to jubilation. As a result, you don't immediately notice the call over the radio. Cadets, to the Sparrow. Post haste. We have a problem. Cadets, acknowledge. So, reward. It says 5 credits. Choose and equip 1 tech upgrade from cards 1 to 6. Go to conclusion. So, let's go to conclusion first, and then we'll do the reward. Your ship turns back to join the Sparrow, and in the distance, flashes of light catch your eye near Medilia. One after another, an armada of huge Rathan capital ships enters orbit near the planet. Then more distant flashes. Weapons fire? The Sparrow promptly issues its commands. Cadets, get back here now. Medelia is under attack and it's not going well. We're leading the retreat. Surely there's time to fight back? Go to choice, continued on next page. I'll do that first, but no, I won't do that first. First, we'll check the tech upgrade cards, which is 1 to 6. Also, it says 5 credits. I don't immediately see where I can write down credits, but maybe just write it down in the notes. Okay, so let's see what tech I can choose. The first one is Target Lock. So Target Lock basically is an ability which gives you, if I'm not mistaken, it gives you advantage. So let's check. Target Lock. Target Lock. When a ship attacks an enemy with Target Lock, they have advantage regardless of what direction they attack from. Remove at the end of the target's next action phase. Use a red cube to track. So basically you put a Target Lock on them. It has 1 and also 3. I think the 3 means range. Yes, this is range. So it's not like they can be super far away. So this is force apply. I guess these are credits, and this means that your ship has to be a certain it needs these 2 to be able to equip it, or at least needs at least 1 to equip it. Okay, so this one is H and C, which is heavy and command. Well, my ship happens to be command and assault, so I think I'll be able to do that. So that's the first option, Target Lock. The second option is Targeted Ion. So this is slow. Remember, they can't use any special abilities for their engine or weapons, I think. So this basically is for heavy and assault. And slow, I just want to double check though. Slow means the target is unable to move or use engine upgrades on their next action phase. So basically you lock them in place. And then we have number 3, which is Shield Charge. So basically you put that on and then you can charge your shield, either yourself or other people, I believe. Recharge the target's shield by the amount shown. Target cannot have more shield than their starting value. So yeah, but you can also target yourself. So range 3, and you can actually target up to 2 people to charge their shield. And if you use a stress die, you can actually also rotate. And this is for R and A, so research and assault. So for now, I can use all of the upgrades. That's nice. 4 is Radar Jam. So Radar Jam means target is disadvantaged in all of their attacks until the end of their next action phase. Use a red cube to track. This is S and C. S is Scout and Command. So I can also use that. Then we have number 5. That is Cloak. So this I can't use. It's for scouts. Basically, Cloak means that they probably can't target you next round. Cloak. It's not alphabetized, is it? Cloak is not here. I guess it's stealth. Okay, yeah, it's just stealth. Pilots or enemies in stealth use the following special rules. Remain in stealth until the end of their next phase. The first attack while in stealth is advantaged. Stealth is removed after attacking. Stealth ships cannot be targeted while in stealth and will only be damaged by an attack with infinity targets. The ship will remain in stealth. Okay, so I can't use Cloak, so I'm just going to put it here. And then the next one is Beam Repair, which I can use because Research and Scout basically means you have a target and you repair it for 2 hull. I'm sure that's what it means. Increase the target's hull by the amount shown, cannot go higher than their starting value. So it's either Repair, Radar Jam, Shield Charge, Target Lock, or Slow. I think I like Target Lock because it increases the damage and everything, right? So I'm going to go for Target Lock. That will be my tech. Target Lock. There we go. Then it'll go away. Back to the box. Okay, one thing that I need to add before we end this playthrough is the end of scenario stuff. So first of all, we set player board stress tracks to 0. So the stress goes back to 0. Flip all weapon and engine upgrades on the player board face up. You can put these face down if your ship takes damage, but you don't want to take the damage, you just want to ignore it. You could flip over your engine or your weapon. Of course, you can't use it for the rest of the scenario. Anyway, that didn't happen. Remove all extra cards that were added to your modifier deck, so that didn't happen either. Of course, these will all be shuffled again. Read the success or failure section. That happened. There are 4 types of rewards players can gain at the end of the scenario: credits, upgrades, achievements, and pilot skill points. So the last time we gained credits. How much was it again? We gained 5 credits. All right. So it says here you're supposed to write it in the notes. And then upgrades, we did it already. Achievements is not applicable. Pilot skill points also not applicable. Ship upgrade points or pilot ability, no. Then the end of scenario, also nothing here like the modifier deck upgrade and so on. You fill in a hex on your pilot skill tree, but that didn't happen. None of these actually happen. And then choices and scenarios where you make a choice. That's true. Now, one thing that I'm wondering is, can you, like, I took some damage because of the meteors. Do I heal or not? So basically at the start of a scenario, even if you move on to the next one, your health and everything of your ship and so on is reset as well. So basically that's something that I forgot to add. So yeah, that's it. Let's continue the playthrough, or what else I have to say. And also back to the campaign. So continued on next page. So training mission continued. Choice: regroup at the Sparrow, go to scenario 2, or ignore the Sparrow and go to Medelia home base, go to scenario 3. So I'm just going to regroup at the Sparrow because I'm not going to desert my main ship in the first mission. You know, I think that's a bit stupid. So I'm going to regroup at the Sparrow, apparently, which means we're going to fight again, but that's okay. So, objective: eliminate all Ronin ships. So actually I'm going to stop here, the playthrough, and the next step will just be another video to limit spoilers and everything else, and also to make sure the video is not super duper long. Okay, so I hope you enjoyed it, and if you want to keep following this the campaign, so please do, because it's pretty fun so far. It really feels like a little bit like Gloomhaven in space. But yeah, okay, so my name was Joachim. This was So Many Games to Little Time. I hope you enjoyed it. Please think about subscribing or liking or pressing the bell and everything else. And that's it. Okay? Have a nice day. Bye-bye.